I'm going to be going over the Hannibal Wasp. I was able to control the Hannibal Wasp myself thanks to GameCheat, who was so kindly able to release this to everyone who wants to use it on the PC Forge version offline. If you guys want to know how to use it yourself, please head on to the video in the description below. I left a link. So jumping right into it, we're going to talk about the weapons of the Hannibal Wasp. Immediately as you see, it looks like a combination of the Hannibal Mantis and Hannibal Scorpion, meaning it has the charge up time of the Scorpion and the primary laser fire of the Hannibal Mantis. This weapon is absolutely destructive. It is so insane. You can kill up to 2 enemies if you in a whole charge of the weapon. Moving on to the secondary, it looks like you're firing a cluster of plasma caster shots that detonate after a certain amount of time or on proximity, and also immediately explode on proximity when you fire them. This weapon is pretty damn powerful. I can't wait to see what it'll do in the following games where you'll be assaulting armories and bases and stuff like that when the enemies are hiding inside and you just immediately find a way to take them down. Moving on, this is a quick test to show that when you fire the primary shot, you are able to take down a maximum of 2 players if you are quick enough. And it's also not too hard to stream from one enemy to the next. As you can see, even though there is good space in between 2 of these enemies, you can still shoot one to the next, and you can get multi-kills pretty easily with the primary shot. So moving on, if you were looking for a way to see how the Hannibal Wasp shines over the Oni Wasp, this is exactly the example that I'm going to give you. This is a test to see how far I can go while still being able to kill the enemy Spartans from my visible range. And from the looks of it, of course they are standing still, but I'm still able to shoot them with ease. And to prove it even more, I went as far as I possibly could while still being able to see the Spartans on the map, and I was able to easily pick them off. Of course, again, they're going to be moving around, but for those who are standing still and those who are just not aware, you can get kills from an insanely far distance. If you're looking for a way to describe this vehicle, it would be something along the lines of the Hannibal Scorpion in the air, because it has immediate travel time with its primary shot, and you're in the air so you can see all the enemies immediately. This is truly an absolutely insane mechanic for this vehicle. So next I'm going to be talking about the range of the secondary, the plasma caster shot, and really it is actually a pretty good distance as well. I wouldn't bet anything on getting kills at this distance though. It seems like it's very inaccurate and not really reliable, but it's still, you know, it's out there, it's a free shot, you might get some kills. I would say it's the range from the Spire to the West Armory. That would be the range that you have right there. It's pretty good, you might get some kills, who knows, but I wouldn't really bet on trying to do this. The secondary, in my opinion, is mostly for enemies that are right below you or just in your general vicinity, and you don't want to deal with them in really close quarters, so you just drop those bombs and then move on. Moving on to the speed test, it looks like both of them go the same speed. The only reason the Hannibal got to the end faster is because I started a little bit closer, so the speed seems to be the same. There isn't really any difference at all, so on that note, not really any change in the speed, which is completely fine because there's a lot more going with this vehicle, and I'm going to show you guys the armor test coming up right now. Alright, so moving on to the armor test, I found something out pretty interesting about the Hannibal and Oni Wasp, and I'm going to show you guys in a sec, but as you can see, the primary shot takes down the Hannibal Wasp in 2 shots, but the Oni Wasp is taken down in 3 shots. So the Oni Wasp has more armor than the Hannibal Wasp. Next we have the secondary attack, and the Hannibal Wasp takes, again, 2 shots to take down, and the Oni Wasp takes 3 shots to take down. So the Oni Wasp has quite a significant amount of armor increase to the Hannibal Wasp, but there is a reason for this, and I'll be showing you guys about that in just a little bit. Also keep in mind that this is also without Wheelman. And now for the final defense test, with both shots going at once, the Hannibal Wasp dies with 1 primary and 1 secondary, and the Oni Wasp dies with 2 primaries and 1 secondary. Now, the reason why I brought the Oni Wasp into this Hannibal Wasp analysis is mostly to compare the armor, yes, but there is one thing I wanted to test out, and it turns out my theory has been true. When it comes to the Hannibal vehicles, the Hannibal Mantis and the Hannibal Scorpion, it says in both of the descriptions that the armor of the Hannibal is reduced, but the shield has been increased. And I wanted to test that with the Hannibal and Oni, and it turns out that there's no difference with that as well. The Hannibal has a bigger shield with faster regeneration and less armor, and the Oni has less regeneration, lower shield, but more armor. As you can see that the Hannibal Wasp took 7 pistol shots to remove its shield, and the Oni took 6 to remove its shield, which is not too big of a difference, but the regeneration is there, and the armor shows for the Oni, so whichever your preference is, that will balance out to see what will happen when these two are released. So before I end this video, I just want to quickly talk about the aesthetics of the vehicle. In comparison to the Oni Wasp, it doesn't really have the mean look to it, but it still has a very nice blue design to it with a different kind of abstract design on the top. So when you're looking down on enemies, you can look at the very nice design, but I think the best way to look at it is to go in person and just come up close to the vehicle. As you can see, it has a very nice design to it. It's a very nice finish. It doesn't really have any of the glow or anything that the Oni Wasp has, but that's okay because this vehicle, it looks very good by itself already. So that's about it for this video analysis on the Hannibal Wasp. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.